Hello, welcome to a new unboxing and quick analysis. Today will be a new micro size quadcopter. This is a JJRC H6D, including a 5.8 GHz FPV system. Okay, so it's a micro size quadcopter, exactly the FPV extension of the former H6C. Okay, so this one takes the same ingredient and had a video transmitter working in 5.8 GHz. It's a good feature because you don't have any interferences with the 2.4 GHz radio link. Okay, so what you will find in this very compact box, so it's nice features because it will hazy the shipping. So you will find the quadcopter itself. So it's definitively taking the same chassis or ingredient than the former Epson X4. Okay, so this is a micro size. If you already saw some of my videos, you can notice that I already installed vertically the antenna in order to extend the range, the control range in the horizontal plane. So I will enter into more details in a few instants for this quadcopter. You will find also this nice transmitter. Okay, this one is already appeared some time ago in some JJRC model, for example for the H12 or more recently for the H6D, another FPV model. So thanks to this radio you will be able, for example, to fine-tune the speed mode thanks to this central wheel. Okay, so you can start from a beginner mode from 50% up to 100% when you are in expert mode. You have 4 panel buttons, 2 shoulder buttons. Okay, the top left shoulder button is used to turn on and off the LEDs. This right one is used to make flips and also can be used to enter into headless, to exit also from headless mode. This tiny button is used to turn on or off the video mode. This one, when pressed briefly, is to take a photo in 1080p resolution, and this one is to turn the radio in mode 1 or mode 2, for depends in your preference. Finally, this one is a so-called 1K return, or kind of return to home. You have to know that in this quadcopter you don't have any compass or barometers. It means that the pseudo return to home function is a pure algorithmic solution. So it will depend strongly of the initial position estimated, and you have to know that versus time this estimation of your home position will be more and more false. It means that after a few seconds, I would say maximum 1 minute, the home position estimation is completely wrong. So it's more a kind of return to somewhere than a return to home. Okay, you will need 4 AA batteries to fit this batteries. Okay, and you have a nice LCD display. Okay, so what also you will find in this box, you will find attached to the quadcopter a prop guard, scale itself standalone. Okay, I will show. I will use these items to make tar. Okay, it scale something like, okay, if I can hold it somewhere. It's not very easy to hold. Okay, I will use another box. Okay, it scales 3.2 grams. Okay, I already scaled it in the past. The quadcopter standalone is quite light. Is something like I will show you the measurement exactly. So it's the weight, the exact weight without the lipo. If I can measure, it's something like 39 grams exactly. Okay, and the lipo, it's a 380 milliamps per hour model, no discharge rate model, working in 1S 3.7 volt, ending with a micro losses. The lipo standalone itself weighs 10.9 grams, so almost 11 grams. So with the battery included, the weight don't exceed 50 grams, so which is a very nice and lightweight 49, almost 50 grams. Okay, so if you add this prop guards, you are below 53 grams. So it's pretty light. You can notice also that you have a huge space in the battery bay. For example, I've got a 500. I don't know where it's a 500 milliamps hour model here, and you can feel it very easily, and there is still a lot of place. So, and it's had only 2 or 3 gram maximum. So if you want to extend your flying duration, you can take some. It's a nice features you can have. Okay, I will continue on the unboxing. What also you will find this two kind of charger cable. So one is to recharge your battery, ending with a micro LED, and this one is to charge the internal LiPo of your FPV monitor. The FPV monitor is exactly the same than the double choice model. So it means that you have a very brilliant display screen, so almost invisible. It's almost impossible to see in the daylight, so you will need to mode it. The sunshade is almost inefficient. That's the main drawback of this FPV monitor. You can eventually install a matte screen instead, but it's a very pretty cheap model, so the FPV monitor is too brilliant. It comes with the SMA connector, so you can attach including 5.8 GHz SMA linear antenna. Okay, so be aware that if you want to use a cloverleaf antenna, you will need also to mode your quadcopter, because if you mix a cloverleaf antenna got a circular polarization with a linear one, a stick antenna, for example, you may have a 3 dB in theory of sensitivity of loss, of course. So what also comes with this quadcopter, 4 spare props, 2 clockwise, 2 counterclockwise, a prop wrench to remove them, okay, and micro SD card reader, sorry, okay. And finally, including in this quadcopter, it's provided a 2 GB micro SD card. Okay, so I will now return more in the quadcopter. So concerning the motor, there are 8.5 mm by 20 coreless motor. So it's the biggest size you can find in coreless type. So it means that you will bring a lot of power, because the quadcopter is still pretty light, maximum I said 50 grams, so it's very good in terms of weight. The ratio thrust capacity versus weight with such motor is pretty good. I will say at least one main drawback, and for me this is the main one, is concerning this lens mount. As you can see, this lens mount is pretty small, and in fact it's what we so-called M6 lens mount. Okay, so the external diameter of the screw is less than 5.8 millimeters. As far as I know, there is no wide lens with such tiny size. The actual one got a narrow field of view, something like 68 degrees. So for me, it's incompatible to fly FPV, at least indoors, with such narrow field of view. It means that the only, one may say, okay, can we install inside 808 JS16 lens sensor? Unfortunately not, because the 24 pins ribbon cable of the camera is directly soldered. Maybe you can see that it is directly soldered. It's been as this transparent plastic on the camera PCB. So, except to do an extremely hard job, because the space between each of the 24 pins of the camera ribbons is less than 1 millimeter. So, except to do a very difficult task to unsolder this ribbon, to resolder the 808 JS16 ribbon cable, it's almost impossible to install an 808 module. That's bad news if you want to apply the classic trick to have a a larger field of view. Well, I think the only possibility is to install a kind of what we call the jelly lens. Okay, it's an external, you have to glue, but versus time you may lose this lens because the fixation is not fantastic. Okay, so that's the main for me byte point of this quadcopter. One word about the radio protocol. The good news, there is a good news, it's using the V2X2 protocol. That means that you can fly with this radio, but most of the Bluetooth radio are GXD or JJRC. That's the good news. And of course, with your Devo controller modded with an RF24 other one RF chip. That's the good news because it will extend also the range and with the Devo controller. Okay, so I said about the motors, about the radio range, okay, and the protocol used. Well, the camera module is assumed to be 1/14 size, a CMOS technology. I found, I will make a small demonstration in a second, that the dynamic contrast is to adapt in the local light is too violent. In fact, it's linked with the size of the lens and the field of view. If you have a narrow field of view, the internal sensor will have to adapt more often. Okay, and the variation is more important. So if you can install a wider lens, this effect will be less strong. Okay, so I say you can take pictures in 1080p, okay, and video at 30 frames per second in 720p. That's the good news. You will see, I will make a small demonstration of the FPV. Unfortunately, you have a slowdown, in fact a frame drop when you are recording while broadcasting FPV. Okay, this is because probably the video sensor processor is not powerful enough, or the memory is not strong enough or not enough important to do the both job simultaneously, to record in 720p and to broadcast in NTSC format. Oh, the default frequencies of the 5.8 GHz is the A4. So if I'm not wrong, it's 5645 MHz. You cannot set the frequencies either in the quadcopter or on the FPV monitor. You don't have any switch to set your video frequency. It means that you cannot fly with two H6D or V666 or 8D, for example, in the same time, because you will share the same video frequency and it's not possible. That's also a drawback of this. Anyway, you can find on the belly part the small 5.8 GHz linear antenna. Well, now I will give my opinion. I don't know why, but I think they make a small error in the design. Well, it's not catastrophic, it's working well, we'll see. But for me, they should install the video part not on the bottom side, but more on the upper side. At least two reasons. Because in the since you plan to install cloverleaf antenna, unfortunately the feet don't offer to a great larger ground clearance. So if you want to install a cloverleaf antenna, the only solution would be to install it vertically. Okay, so if you replace this antenna with a cloverleaf antenna, it means that you will block the battery bay. So in fact, the ideal solution would have been to install the video transmitter more in the where the flying controlling board is located and the upper, so to swap between the flying controlling board with the video transmitter. For me, it would have been a better choice. Okay, so I don't know if it will be possible to swap it. Maybe it will be, I'm not sure, because probably we will have to inverse the sensor ribbon, but I don't think it's possible. Okay, so it means that we probably need to leave this linear antenna. And you know that the pattern diagram of emissions is broadcasting in kind of torus like this, and the less direction where the emission is done is in this on-axis like this. So if you are flying and you far and you are exactly on the axis of this antenna, you may lose your FPV connections. This is why often you have to install vertically both the 2.4 GHz antenna and also the FPV antenna. Okay, so you will need probably to mode the position of antenna. I already did for the 2.4 GHz one to extend the control range. I expect to have something like 150 meters. Okay, I will make some external tests to check that point. One word also, it comes with some tiny plastic feet. You have to clip them. Okay, well, if you don't plan to use them, you can install directly the prop guard. Inside you have this kind of small also fit. So it's thanks to this prop guard, it's ideal for beginners. Okay, I will install the and to show you the lag of the frame drop. So it's pretty easy to install the FPV monitor. You have two clips like this. Okay, one drawback, there are no screw, and the LCD is too heavy and it's falling on the command. So if you are flying the radio like this, unfortunately the screen can fall on the command by accident. I think it's a drawback. It's like the H6D, it's exactly. So I will screw the linear 5.8 GHz antenna. You have a small switch to turn on or off the LCD monitors. Okay, you will see that the screen is quite brilliant, so it's very hard to see. Maybe here how it's brilliant, it's amazing. So definitively you need to do something. Okay, and I will show and measure the frame drop. There is no delay, but some frame drops because the processor can handle everything, recording and broadcasting at the same time. Well, not efficient enough. So I'm estimating, I will show, and you will be able to find the exact time on the video because I will use my chronometer. Okay, so I turn on the quadcopter. You have some blue LEDs on front and also red on rear. Okay, so and the green LEDs is for the camera status. When it's solid green, it means that it's just broadcasting the okay, I will show that. So I think you can see. I will show you. Okay, so it's not bad, but there is a kind of I think you can see both variation. There is something like 0.1, 0.2 millisecond, well, second, sorry. So 10 millisecond or maximum 20 of delay. But the more problem, I will say, is the frame drops when I will engage the recording. So I will turn on the radio first. Okay, and I will install the quadcopter on the flat surfaces to arm. Okay, you have to push up and down the quadcopter to arm. Okay, now it's down. Since it's using a classic V2X2 protocol to reset and the gyroscope, you have to push both sticks in lower left, but in 100% mode. So press on the wheel and select 100, repress, then you will be able to calibrate. And you will see that you have these LEDs flashing. Okay, I will redo it again to see more. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now the gyroscope are calibrated. So I say this button, the top, is to turn on top left on the LEDs. Well, for night flying is okay, but it's not fantastic. And I think in pure daylight it will be a little bit hard to see the LVC alarm, but it's possible. So this button is used to turn on or off the recording. So if I press on it, you have a small camera appearing, and you will see that you have a red flashing LEDs, and on the screen you will see a small SD information. Okay, so as you can see, there is a small frame drop. While recording is not amazing, it's not impossible to fly, but you have something, in the fast transition, you have something like 15 frames per second. Okay, so for very fast transition. You can see you will have a small degradation in your flying performances while recording. Okay, I will use my camera, my phone to measure this one. So okay, I will try to do everything in the same time. I hope it will be possible. Okay, like this. So I hope you will be able to see. Okay, I will install the camera on this. Yes. Okay, I hope you can see everything. So I will press and you will be able to see. So I will turn recording without recording first. Okay, I hope you can see. Okay, so the delay is something like 0.2 seconds or 10 milliseconds, something like this. Okay, I will stop, do the same experience with the with the recording on. So I will turn on the recording now. Okay, so you have on the OSD information, the chrono also, and we'll start. So here, in fact, if you can see well, but if you can make a pause, and I will make some snapshot photos also, you will see that not 24, well, 30 frames per second are recorded or displayed. You have something like 17, 18, something like this maximum, okay? So you have to know. So a small delay, but frame drops during while the recording is on. The video quality is not bad. Okay, I will stop the chronometers. Okay, and I will show the effect of the light transition. Okay, I hope you can see. Try to see the. You can notice it's turning to dark, light, dark, light, dark. Okay, because there is a narrow field of view, so you have the wide dynamic range effect. Okay, so it's to handle much better the dark zone or shadow zone versus the light one. I think this situation will be improved when you will be able to install a wide lens. This is the main open question for me. Okay, so I will hand this small unboxing and quick analysis, and I will conclude about this quadcopter. So first of all, the flying duration, thanks to this batteries, is something like 5 minutes. I don't have the emitted power. I cannot measure the emitted power, but I think it's at least a 25 milliwatts video transmitter, and in fact I guess it's a 101. Okay, if maybe it's not really allowed in some European countries, but I think it's something like 101. The camera is nice. It's offering very beautiful pictures. You will see on the recording. So it's and it's pretty stable. Okay, I'm impressed by how stable the camera footage is for such nano micro-size quadcopter. You know, the smaller the quadcopter is the harder to stabilize is, and in fact. It will be, you will see on your video the consequence of this instability, because it's very hard to stabilize. Anyway, this one offers very stable for the side videos. The main drawback for me is the choice of the sensor and directly of the lens mount. Very small M6, and since there is no wide lens for this format yet, if a company can see this video, you can have a big market if you can produce such lens, because now a lot of toys got such size. You will have it will be a hit bestseller for sure. So unfortunately there are no such wide lens with 120 degrees of field of view. It would be the perfect modes to do. Okay, so but in worst case you can install a kind of what we call a jelly lens. You have to glue them. It's not a very proper mode, but at least it's of it. You can increase the field of view like this. It's a nice quadcopter. So the FPV part is working on 5.645 MHz NTSC format, come with a 2 GB linear antenna for both the 2.4 GHz and the FPV and 5.8. Okay, so well, it's pretty light, good flying duration. You can extend with 500 milliampere without any problem, maybe more. So, but don't use the 700 because it will stress too much the motors. Strong motors with a strong power lift capacity. Because they are 8.5 millimeters. Processor size is very good. Well, it's it would have been the perfect, well, I would say, if you was using the FlySky protocol and was out of the box, including a wide lens. But it's pretty cheap. It's something like $90 for everything included. Is very nice. The radio is nice. Well, the FPV monitor is definitely also a weak point. What you have to do is probably to use a box, something like this, and to and ski goggles, and you make your own goggles to have to remove the lights and to have a dark zone from the monitor, because the monitor, the screen is too brilliant, so you cannot see anything in daylight. So really it's very hard. You can only fly it when it's cloudy, so out of the box, so it's not possible, of course. So this is, I would say, the second drawback of this model, but it's the same that most of the cheap FPV model, you know, they are using the same type of 4.3-inch monitors. So okay, so I hope I cover most of the points. I hope I was not too long, but if you like this video, please submit. If you like my channel in general, please subscribe. If you have any question, please type. The RC Group's review will come as soon as possible, as well as some outdoors video. See you next time. Bye bye.